Hey everybody, welcome back to Alien RPG. I am your host, Hachiman, aka Marty. This is session 0 of the new campaign that I'm launching with my Roll20 group. The PDF for this campaign is not available on my website yet, but it will be soon, going through some editing and some polishing notes right now. And I'll have that out to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, turn your notifications on, comment below, and next week we will actually start the campaign itself. It was a series of comic books. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I never. I, I never quite understood how Batman is supposed. There was also a Batman Predator crossover, and I guess I could see Batman taking on a Predator. I'm not sure about his ability to fight xenomorphs. Um,
I think it I think it wasn't terrible. I just remember a giant like alien that was came from a crocodile. That was it.
yeah, because there was go imagine imagine this. There was an evil scientist that was trying to experiment, and he had somehow infected a crocodile or gotten a crocodile impregnated with a face hugger or something. Yeah, I vaguely remember, or maybe he was splicing DNA. I don't recall. It's been a long time. Um, there's also a I discovered this. I came across a I don't know if you guys are familiar with What Culture at all, but I kind of like following their articles and their YouTube videos. I came across a one of their articles. It was top 10 ridiculous comic book crossovers or something along those lines. Hey Andy.
Sorry for the holdup.
No, it's all good. And number one was the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Alien crossover.
You're kidding. There was one?
Oh, yeah. Buffy and Spike went on vacation to space and ran into xenomorphs on a space station.
To space? How did that work? How did they get to space?
I have no idea. It's like I had no idea such a thing existed, but just immediately
That's crazy.
I completely discounted it. So welcome everybody to the campaign. That piece of art you're seeing in front of you is a little distorted because it's just a small piece of art that, or it's part of a much larger piece of art that I've cut out and zoomed in on. A couple of you might have already seen the full piece of art if you are looking at social media at all. No spoilers to those of you who've seen the whole thing. As we go through the campaign, I'll reveal a little more of it. So, a quick, brief review. I know we kind of talked about it, but so you guys will be playing the part of an exploration vessel. Quite specifically, and let me just pull my PDF up here. But in yikes! Holy zoom, Batman. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. It starts in March 1st, 2184. You guys represent an independent science/survey vessel. You are on March 1st. You depart Arcturus in the Crestus sector. You're under contract with the UA to find life-viable exoplanets beyond the frontier for further expansion. So this is, in terms of the timeline. Wow, what's going on?
Yeah.
Somebody got a hot mic?
I think it's you, Andy. Andy, try muting.
What does it sound like when that's happening?
It's really loud.
Like static.
Static.
Engine warming up.
Yeah, it sounds like static or like a. Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it seems to be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, if you guys were to look in, the rules as written, the Crestus sector is part of UA space. kind of to the, shall we say, the northeast of Seoul on the frontier. Arcturus, of course, you guys remember Arcturus from Aliens. It don't matter if it's Arcturian, baby. And if you've played the Frontier War, of course, one of the missions takes place on Arcturus. Arcturus is, you know, the Arcturians are kind of a weird one because they're, you know, they're their own people, but at the same time they're kind of under the protection of the UA, and they're in UA space, so there's a Marine contingent there. And LaSalle Bionational has a big like kelp farm or mushroom farm there, but that's where you guys disembark from. Now you're running a. I'm going to drag you over to this. You're running a CM-94B exploration vessel, which I'm dragging you over to the main deck of the ship now. Everyone should see it. Everyone sees Lockmart CM-94B Explorer class research vessel. Main deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, you know, the main deck of the ship, the cryo deck is smack dab in the center. The crew quarters are further aft, and the square room aft of the you know, come to think of it, I kind of designed this with the fore facing down and the aft facing up. I should have done it upside down. Oh well. All right. Well, whatever. The ship has a galley. It has it has kind of a small rec lounge. You also have the command center at obviously the bridge at the foremost point. Engineering's all the way in the back, and then you've got the science lab and medical that make up the starboard sides of the ship. So you, unlike, say, you're an M-class vessel, but unlike, say, a Bison-class freighter may have a medical bay, but it's not going to have a science lab for sure, but you guys are a research ship. And then, just so that you guys can see it, I'll show you the sub deck as well. There's got to be a faster way than dragging everybody individually to that map. Maybe there's not. So there's the sub deck. The biggest room there is the cargo bay, which is kind of underneath engineering. It's a class 4 cargo bay, which is the largest one that you can have. The Apollo section is directly underneath the main bridge. There's a hatch with a ladder that connects the two. In the very center of the subdeck is a lifeboat. This particular vessel has one of the very advanced lifeboats. Did I close my stupid document? I closed my document. I'm having one of those moments. I'm sorry. What is that? Was that page 35 of my document? Close. The lifeboat on this ship is it's a Class D lifeboat, which is if you look in your manual, that's one of the big ones. It's actually capable, in the case of an emergency, it's actually capable of dumping the entire cryo level straight into that lifeboat. Okay, that's why the cryo level is directly over top of it. And then the
So like it has an automated rescue function essentially for
correct.
if a larger ship happens and we're all traveling like FTL for a long time.
Right, and the lifeboat itself has its own slow, but it does have its own FTL capability. I believe the FTL rating on it is like 12 or 18. It's a very slow lifeboat, but at least you're making progress. Now, your vessel itself, to give you a little information about it, obviously it's made by Lockmart. It's 302 meters long. It actually has, because it's an M-class ship with an FTL rating of 6, that's actually substantially faster than most M-class ships. This vessel has boosted displacement drives, which let it go a lot quicker. It also has enhanced sensors, which would make sense because it's a science ship. And then it has the ability to make planetfall. Now, if you guys look, did I make Apollo available to all of you guys? you guys should see that you. Oh, maybe not Andy. Hold on one second, Andy. Let me get you set up here. I just created a character sheet for each of you, and if you're familiar with making a character sheet on Roll20, oh, there we go. I couldn't find you, Andy. I had to scroll down. It gives it
I got one.
gives you just a really weird name.
Yeah.
So you guys can edit all that. I mean, just by clicking and opening it, you should be able to hit edit, which would allow you to change your name. You can type in bio info, all that stuff. Obviously, go ahead.
Sorry, I put a link in the chat to a website called Game Mother. That'll let you generate an alien character and do quick builds and stuff like that. It has everything through all core classes and everything from the Colonial Marines manual. You can just input everything and then download it as a PDF at the bottom if you want to use that as a tool.
Yeah, is that the Jim? Is that the same one you showed us at the beginning of?
I didn't hear that conversation. I had to reload.
Oh.
There's something in the Colonial Marines, you said?
Well, it's the link Jesse put in right there. Game Mother allows you to generate a character. Is that the same one that you showed us?
No, I think that's different. The one I was a fan made, so this one is probably better.
This is a fan made one as well, but
Oh,
this guy, I don't know. I don't know which one you showed. This guy updates
it's the
all
same
time. Found it on the subreddit.
Oh yeah, it is the same one.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the
Yeah,
same one.
the same.
But that's cool. Where did my stupid? Oh, because it opened up a tab. I couldn't find my Roll20 tab. So yeah, on the character sheet, you guys have the ability to basically edit and input everything. In terms of avatars, character pictures. Obviously, we got to figure something out for that, because having a bunch of you run around with stick figure anonymous images is going to be very confusing very quickly. Unless you have a particular piece of art or picture you want to use specifically, thispersondoesnotexist.com is a really good website that I use to make all my character art. Hold on one second. This person does not exist.com. That didn't do a link, did it? Hold on one sec. Do it the hard way. But you literally, let's try it now. You literally go to that website and it just generates a picture. And if you don't like the one you want, you just hit F5 until you keep getting whatever you want, which is weird because I've generated like 8 pictures in a row now, and every single one of them's been a woman, which is kind of bizarre odds. But and then when you find the one you want, you can just right-click it and save it to your computer. And if you guys even want me to run it through my Photoshop filters that my daughter set up, I can even do that to quote-unquote alienize it a little bit if you want. But that's up to you. Whatever you guys want to do. In terms of character generation, or in terms of the characters, so there's 6 of you, and a ship requires certain things to run, right? You have to have someone who is very good at comtech, because the ship, according to the rules as written, losing Jesse again. I'll bet you money if I reconnect, I'll be able to hear him. Hold on, I'm gonna try that.
Thank
Jesse?
you.
Yeah, there you are. Okay.
I'm gonna shoot Comcast. I swear to fuck.
I hate Comcast so much. I switched off them about 4 years ago for Verizon and have never looked back. Ever.
Yeah. No, I'm on Verizon Fios, and I
I don't think I even get that in my area yet. We're kind of out in the sticks, so Comcast has been the only thing I could get, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fios is wonderful. I can have 2 people streaming movies in the house and 4 people playing online video games, and it doesn't even Doesn't even blink
I've
at it.
never had a service interruption from from FiOS. Maybe a 30-second hiccup once or twice ever. Comcast used to just chop, and I live in Philly. I mean, Comcast built the infrastructure here. This is if they're going to be good, they're going to be good here,
Right.
and they're not. No, Verizon is vastly superior fiber optic lines.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And take this information for what you will. I think Comcast is owned by Microsoft. I think
Not sure.
Microsoft bought them 15 years ago or so.
Let's see.
So, so Jesse's already put in an avatar. All you do is, like I said, if you find one you like, you just drag it straight into that spot when you hit the edit button, so you can get your character looking however you want. You guys also should all have access to another character sheet called Apollo, which has your friendly HAL image. That's the AI of the ship, which has very limited piloting, observation, and comtech skills. I don't know that if I were you guys, I would let Apollo go flying the ship too much with its 4 piloting. But the net effect is you guys have to have at least one person who's got good comtech to handle electronic maintenance. You need at least one person with a good heavy machinery to handle that maintenance. You really should have a pilot. I don't want to shoehorn anybody into any particular, career, but it would be really unfortunate if you guys were making planetfall on your first planet and you failed a piloting role and failed it on the push and your ship takes major damage just landing.
Based on history, that's going to happen no matter how high our stats are.
Right. So are we okay?
What are
so
people looking
we
to
need
take?
one pilot and the rest are scientists, or is there engineer?
Well, you definitely should have a roughneck-esque character, because that'll be the heavy machinery guy. Okay.
Yeah.
You definitely should consider a pilot. Now, don't get me wrong. Any other character with high agility, you could pick another character with 5 agility points and give them 1 point of piloting, and they'd have a dice pool of 6. So you could do that, rather than have a dedicated pilot. That's up to you guys. I don't want to shoehorn you into it. Of course, if you look at the pilot class, the career has not only piloting but also comtech as career skills. So whoever's the pilot could also be the guy that covers most of the comtech for the maintenance stuff. Kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And then, you should have because you're a science exploration vessel, you should have at least a couple scientists. I don't want to necessarily say you need to have 3 or 4, but that's up to you guys.
I was going to do I
haven't played a pilot yet.
a medic with high strength. So bump up my strength to 4, and then I think I was going to, I can think, because it's, if I'm remembering this right, it's...
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay,
No
hold on a second. Jim,
We're
Jim,
2 people talking.
Jim and Jesse, you guys are talking at the same time. Jim, do you hear
I didn't
Jesse?
hear Jesse.
Oh,
No,
Jim, hit reconnect for me.
Yeah, I don't hear him either, so I'm reconnecting.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't realize we were talking at the same time.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you guys, you couldn't hear each other, so it's not really a problem. Things happen. Crom's got the spinny wheel of death on my screen.
Yeah. When he's in, Jim, if you want to go first, I'm happy to hear it.
I was just saying I could. I'll take pilot if nobody objects to that career yet, but I'd be happy with anything else too.
Does everyone have Sharif?
I can hear him.
Hi.
Yeah, he's on me, video and audio.
Did you
Okay.
miss me? I'm back.
Yeah, I had to reconnect. I couldn't see or hear you. I figured you were there, but so I reconnected. Anyway. Okay, sorry about that.
Well, I was wondering. Let's see if we have a couple scientists, a pilot, a roughneck. That's already 4. And I know we're kind of in this together, but shouldn't we have someone who has command?
Yeah, and I think well outside of being any kind of obnoxious metagame, if we're talking about a crew that has intentionally been formed together to be functional, then the idea would have been that we've recruited people who have these skills to cover the bases that we need to.
Very true.
So I was looking to take a medic, with the compassion skill, which lets me basically push any roll based on empathy twice. So I can make, so while I don't have a command bonus, I can push that roll twice. And I also can push medical aid rolls twice. And then I was going to bump strength up to 4, and then I think I get one, outside of my 3 key abilities, I think I get 1 free point to spend, which I could throw in a heavy machinery.
Well, you to be very specific, you get a total of 10 skill points. You can
Yep.
put up to 3 in any of your 3 core skills, and you
Uh-huh.
can put 1 in anything else. Now, you don't have to put 3 in each of the 3 core skills. You could do 2, 2, and 2, and that leaves you with 4 points to put in other skills. The problem is a non-career skill cannot be over 1. You can't put it over 1, and no one can know more than seven skills. So
Yeah, so what I was looking to do was take compassion as a skill, bump
as a
my,
talent,
as my talent, then medical aid 3, observation 3, and at least 1 in heavy machinery, because with a strength of 4, that puts my dice pool at 5. So it's roughneck-esque, and I can function as a medic.
yeah.
And I was thinking about playing the roughneck, partially because I've been in a situation in a bunch of campaigns or scenarios where I've been in charge a lot, and I don't necessarily want to be in charge. I spent the last 30 years of my career in the real world being in charge. And second, I wanted to stay away from scientists because I'm trying not to metagame too much, because my background is in nuclear engineering. So I've got my own personal, I got a ton of science background. I don't want to really be a scientist. So I was thinking about being a roughneck. And what I was thinking then was, I'll go strong in strength and heavy machinery. That'll give me also some close combat and stamina. But I could back that up with, agility and maybe a point in piloting, not to be the pilot, but and a point in comtech, so that I could be a backup in case our pilot gets incapacitated. At least then we don't have a guy with only 3 agility dice trying to fly the thing, if our pilot is out. So that's what I was thinking for the roughneck. So a strength of 5, heavy machinery of 3 would give me 8 dice on all the heavy machinery stuff. Close combat of 2 would give me 7 dice for close combat. And maybe a 1 for ranged combat, and agility of 4 would give me 5 for ranged combat in case we needed it. So, any comments, any objections to me being the heavy machinery guy?
That's fine. I think I'm doing the same thing. I think I broke this down to take 1 point heavy machinery, 1 point comtech, 1 point mobility. That gives me, so for example, my agility is awful, and I'm never going to shoot a gun. If you're down, then I have 5 with a heavy machinery roll. So that's not,
Okay.
great, but I can cover you in a pinch or something if someone's down.
Well, and if you're the medic, then the other thing is that one of our scientists could, besides having wits as a high number and observation and comtech, one of our scientists could maybe put some points in empathy and medical so they could back up you.
Yeah, that would.
It just sounds like a decent idea that we have our main thing that we do, and then everybody has a backup thing to cover for somebody else if they're out.
And again, the kind of thing you would see around a deliberately crafted group of professionals. Like, everybody's got a primary focus, but experience doing these other things. That's why you got hired over the other people.
Right.
And then Hachi, explain what you were thinking about the scientists, that if you specify an area of concentration.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to play a scientist, scientist is an extremely broad term. because there are so many different fields of study. I was going to definitely use my optional my homebrew survival rule. So when you're sciencing the shit out of something, as the Martian might say, uh, if you're combining two chemicals to see what they do, that's an observation roll. But if you're combining 100 milliliters of chemical A and 5 grams of compound P, expecting this to happen, that would be a survival roll. It's like the difference between watching someone how to make a fire versus actually making a fire yourself, if that makes sense. But also, anyone who decides that they are a scientist, I would want you to declare a particular field that is your core field of study, and any science-based roles you make in that core field of study would gain +2 bonus. So if you're a physicist and you're looking at biological matter under a microscope, you would just roll your normal observation. But if you're doing something in the physics field, you would gain 2 bonus dice, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Well, I think after San Tome, we all know I'm the science officer that we want around. No, but if I am not a horrible corporate construct of an entity who literally has no emotions or any drive to keep any of you alive, I can play that character a little differently. Yeah, I'd be happy to do the scientist. I know I heard Jim saying he was interested in doing the pilot. I played the pilot during one of our previous campaigns. So
the hunt, yep.
Yeah, during no, it was it was Immaculate.
Oh, that's right, Immaculate.
Yeah.
You were Maggie in the hunt.
Yeah. So yeah, I would be happy to do scientist again with maybe a little less horrendous ulterior motive going on that animates my actions.
All right, very good.
I don't know exactly what kind of scientist I want to play yet. I'll think on it for a few minutes. I kind of just now decided I would do it again. I didn't want to grab it in case someone else wanted it, just because I just did a scientist.
Yeah, and there's definitely room for probably 2 on this. So all right, so Jim, you're running a pilot. I just realized I better write this down so I can keep it straight in my head. Jesse, you're doing a medic. Thermo, you're a roughneck. So that leaves us what? That leaves us Bob, Sharif, Bob and Sharif to decide what you guys want to do.
Bob, what do you want? You want to be ship's captain? We need a captain, right?
No, I'll take another scientist, I think.
Okay.
That's okay with you guys.
Fuck. I should have spoken quicker.
Well, Sharif, what would you like to do?
Well, wait, do you not want to do the captain job?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I will do anything that we need, but it's not my favorite thing. But
I will also do anything that we need. So if you would prefer to switch to a scientist, I can do the captain thing too. I was only speaking up because it seemed like the right time. But if you want to take a different role, I don't have a problem taking that on either. I'm pretty open about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's how I feel too. Whatever we need is fine with me. I don't have a no-go zone, other than maybe medic, for the same reasons that Marty didn't want to play the officer character. I'd rather not play a medic. I've done enough of that for one lifetime.
I've been both the scientist and the captain at this point. I had fun doing both. I don't particularly lunge for the authority roles either, but if no one else wants to do the captain thing, I will do it.
Well, the captain, what's that? Officer? Is that
That's
what
officer.
character class?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which an officer is what, an empathy-based character. So, because they have the command ability, and an officer is something that you guys could theoretically go without. But an officer being high empathy gives you someone that's good at manipulation and command. Command is very important because something we don't use that often is using command to make someone stop a panic. Not to mention, command can be used. Um, Sharif, you can give Jim as the pilot. You can make it an order and roll command and say, take us in, make planet fall, put us down nice and easy. You make a command roll. If you get 2 successes, then he gets 2 bonus dice on his piloting roll. Stuff like that. And there's even there's an officer talent. Making a command in combat is a slow action, but there's an officer talent, I believe, called Field Commander, which makes giving orders a fast action, which means you could actually give orders to 2 different people in one combat round as your actions to help them succeed at whatever they're trying to do. So just throwing some options out there, and also with an officer being an empathy-based character, you could roll a high empathy and even put a point. I know you're not trying to be the medic, but you could put a point in medical aid so that you're also a backup medic in case Jesse's not around, or there's different things you can do. I don't want to tell you what you should do, but
All right, I'll do it. That's fine. No
you'll
problem.
do officer. All right.
Sure, why not?
I think because we're talking about doing like a deep space exploration style campaign, that both scientist and the captain sound pivotal and fun to do. And also because we're not like thrown into a directly high pressure situation right away necessarily, or we're not going to be probably attacked by aliens right out, or at least that's what it says campaign play is in the beginning. Maybe have a chance to kind of round out what these roles are a little bit more.
This is a hardcore survival simulation, so it starts off, everything's fine. By the end of the first session, we have no clothes. We're burning pine cones.
Yeah, there are no aliens, but there's no food anywhere in sight.
We crashed on some shitty jungle planet full of disease and fucking spiders 20 inches across.
Well, we still probably need a pilot, a captain, and a scientist.
Shit, I don't have fire starting as a skill.
That would be survival. What was that, Jesse?
I'm ready for a game with a lion worm.
Yeah. I've never used the lion worms. I was looking through the book the other day and said, "Oh, lion worms! I forgot about them."
Lion worms and the harvester. That's good.
All right. So the next step would be, of course, to open your character sheet and to type your career in. Whatever career you have, and then you can either use the generator or you can do it by hand. Whatever you've got 14 points between your stats, right? With your career stat being able to go up to a 5, and any of the others have to be 2, 3, or 4. And then you get 10 skill points to put between the different skills. Your career skills can go up to 3. Your non-career skills can only have 1 point, and you cannot have points in more than 7 skills. So,
Can you repeat the attributes points again?
Yeah, you get a total of 14.
Right.
Your career attribute can go up to a 5, and then your others have to be between a 2 and a 4.
Oh, this is really cool. I could pick an uplink terminal to remote control the aircraft or the spacecraft. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can actually. It's one of your options.
It's one of my 2 things.
And then you get 10 skill points. I'm also going to throw a couple curveballs your way, so let me know when everybody thinks they're caught up.
3, 7. Yeah, I think I'm good. I used the generator. It seemed to work pretty well, and then I just typed it into the roll 20 sheet.
Yep, perfect. So who's Max Decker?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. All right. Oh, shoot, I'm on your character sheet. Okay. And then Matthew Vickers, is that you, Jesse?
Yep, that's me.
That's you, and you're the medic, and you're, you've got compassion, and it looks like you're already set up. Yeah, you've moved right along, haven't you? Pretty good to go.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much set. I was going to ask you.
All right. Dwayne Dunning. Who's that?
That's me,
That's you.
a roughneck.
Yep. All right. So, yeah, you. You're all right.
Got a cramp.
So make sure you put roughneck in your career, and then you'll need to divide out all your points if you haven't already. Have you decided what you want to do for your talent yet?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I was thinking the best talent would.
Sorry, guys, got a phone call real quick. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to decide between resilient and true grit. Let me take a look at those again. I'm thinking about. Yeah, I'm trying to decide between resilient or true grit.
You know, the roughneck really does not have a wrong answer when it comes to talent. You know, resilient is awesome just because it's basically like built-in armor. And then true grit, just anything that allows you to push something twice is a great thing. Of course, pushing twice has a downside always, but
yeah. So I'm thinking as my first, one, thinking about resilient being the one I'm going to use. So when I enter the talent, where do I enter the talent? Over here on talents. I see talents.
Yeah, where it says talent one name, you just type it in right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I might help if I spell it right, however that's spelled.
Who's Jake Sinclair? Is that you, Andy?
No.
Oh, that's Bob.
My name is currently Vem Uwore.
Oh, okay.
I didn't change my name yet.
That's fine. So, Bob, you're all right. So you're a biologist. That's a good choice. I like that. All right. And you went with analysis for your talent. Okay, cool. Very good. And you've already got your gear set up, it looks like?
Yeah.
All right, don't forget to roll for initial cash. What's the scientist get? D6 times $100? I think so. Yeah. I like your signature item, Bob. I'm a big fan. And let's see.
Okay.
What science you going with, Andy?
I think I might be a geologist.
Okay.
Nice.
I like it. Of course, now that you said that, all I can see in my mind is Sheldon covered in camo gear standing on the ridge going, "Geology isn't a real science." Right before all the paintballs hit him.
I would jettison Sheldon, regardless of my class or physical capacity. I would find a way.
You notice his character straightened up the last I think it was the last 2 seasons. He kind of straightened up a little bit, and it was because viewers in general were starting to get really pissed off with him. He was beyond quirky, and he was just a dick. And the people on the internet were starting to respond that they hated Sheldon, so they had to do something.
Well, and I remember seeing an article by a mental health professional that stated quite specifically that Sheldon clearly has autism spectrum.
He's
disorders.
autistic, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was actually just going to say one of my friends has Asperger's, and he's a good guy, but he has a couple times in his life had to kind of recognize the divide between I have this other spectrum of thought and I am just an unrelatable asshole, and kind of come around to I mean, he's a good guy. He's come through that, but it's a struggle that people have. I think Sheldon, for that reason, was a pretty well written character, but he wasn't very relatable.
No. All right. Let's see here.
Let's see.
By the way, in one of the shows, I found an error in one of the equations on their whiteboard.
Did you?
I immediately went to the website and said, "You guys made an error on this equation on the whiteboard." And then they sent me an email back. It took me all of about 2 minutes after I saw the error to send the message. They sent me an email back saying, "Thank you. You were number 37
Oh.
finding the error." And apparently they gave a Big Bang t-shirt to the first 10 people to notice the error. So I didn't get a t-shirt.
So did they do that on purpose then?
No.
Oh, okay. It was accidental.
It was accidental.
All right, so I have a question. Does everybody have their stats, skill points, and talents selected?
I have to pick a talent.
I'm working on that. Hold on a second.
My sheet's all good anytime.
Okay. Because I'm going to give you guys a bonus.
All right.
Okay.
So I got to make sure I do this right.
Skills. I have to write down. I just have to fill in my talent. I have chosen my talent.
Okay.
And I have my stats and skills.
All right, I
Very
filled
good.
in my talent, but now let me count up my points. Make sure I didn't do a foo bar.
Yeah, 14 and
Four-
10.
14 and 10.
Yep.
2, 5, 6, 7,
Okay, I'm good.
9, 10. I think I'm good too. So I've got my attributes. I've got my skills, and I've got my talent. All right, that's what you asked for, right?
Yep.
Attributes, skills, and talent. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
So I am now going to give you each 5 experience points that you can either add another skill point in something, or pick another talent, or pick a second language that you are fluent in. Because I'm assuming you're all fluent in English.
So we can pick a language, add a skill point, or choose an additional talent.
Correct.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Crom, which one is your character sheet?
The name is Krogri Afreller is the one that assigned me. I can barely pronounce it.
Yeah, you should feel free to edit that and make that name whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've not assigned skill points and attribute points yet? You're muted, sir.
Sorry, it's because I'm switching back and forth to the character generator.
Oh, it's no problem.
So
That's no problem.
I was using that to kind of help me figure out
That's fine.
figure my way through it.
And I know you stepped away for a phone call, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'm behind. I'm so sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it, man.
I think I'm going to be a geneticist instead.
Oh, a geneticist. I like it.
I feel like that might serve us a little bit better than geologist. So it's common within the broader universe, outside of engineers and the horrors of the goo and xenomorphs, that humans know there are other fauna around different planets. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Scorpionids are not a new discovery. We've seen and okay.
No, I mean, harvesters are even to the point that regardless of where they're natural to, like Weyland-Yutani has even managed to start capturing them for domestication. So I mean, everyone knows that there's plenty of alien life out there, any of which could be deadly or not. As far as intelligent life, the average person only knows that the only intelligent life that's been discovered are the Arcturans, and that the Arcturans they're kind of a point of not only scientific but also philosophical debate, because they're like 99.8% human. Their genetics are almost identical to human beings.
Okay.
which is very obviously it brings up there's a lot of points for debate where that's concerned as to why that's the case, especially when you consider their sculptures that they have out in their desert.
So, I'm sorry to bug in again.
No, fine.
The point, language, talent, or is it a point
Or
in
is
one
a
of
single
our
point in another skill? Yep,
skill, not our core
correct.
attributes?
Yeah, the core attributes never increase in Alien.
Right.
Right. Except when you turn into one, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's funny.
All right. So I think I'm pretty much done, including a ridiculous-looking picture from Starship Troopers. If you're okay with that.
Oh, I'm. That's great. That's wonderful. I love it. Yeah. I it's your picture. I'm fine.
Alrighty.
Did you? I'm just curious. What did you do with your 5 points?
I just increased one to piloting.
Oh, okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'll be Uber pilot like the guy in the picture.
All right. All right. Let's see here.
Do we get to make up our own personal agendas too?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And should there be, since I'm the pilot, do I use the ship tab to keep track of the ships?
Well, yeah, that's fine. I can give you all the ship stats if you
That'd
like.
be great. Yeah.
Exciting to have that coming. We haven't had a major vehicle yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna pilot the shit out of it.
I'm spending my experience points on General Skill Counselor.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So that'll let me roll command and reduce stress by that much.
Yeah. Yeah, every success you get reduces stress in one target. Is that right?
Yup, and if I get any bonuses, I can like super reduce stress. So so if I roll
So
command and
do we spend the experience points, or is it just that we get
No,
an additional?
go ahead and spend the experience points on something. Yeah.
Okay, no. I guess what I'm saying is is the system like D&D where you level up and you get a?
No, it's once you spend the points, they're gone.
And what's the magic number for 5? 5 gives you the
5
ability
gets
to
you
change.
the skill point or the talent, or in
Got
my homebrew. And I will say the option to pick a language for 5 experience points, I pretty much allow that on character generation, but through the course of the game, that's a little bit of a different ball game because you can't just go 3 scenarios and suddenly be fluent in Russian. It doesn't work that way,
Right.
So choosing to spend the 5 points on a language now, this is pretty much the only time you'll get to do that. I should have pointed that out.
Oh, that's interesting. If you do pick a language, where would you put that?
That's in San Tome. I put it under a talent button. Okay. You could do it that way. That would be fine.
yeah, seems like a good spot for it. Let's see. So we have a Decker. Someone did Decker.
Yep, that's Jim, the pilot.
Gotcha. And then what are the other names of characters so far?
Matthew. Oh, well, you're Matthew Vickers. You're the medic.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mitchell Roman. Dr. Mitchell Roman. That's Andy.
That's mine. Yeah.
Yep. And then.
I think I'm done filling out everything and spending my points.
Okay.
Yeah, I think mine's set as well.
Dwayne Dunning. That's Marty
Roughneck.
VP. Yeah, he's the roughneck. And then Krogi Freller. his Sharif, the officer, who I think is still working on his. Or just captain.
I am. Yeah, for now.
Yeah. And then, so Bob, that makes you Dr. Jake Sinclair. Where's that picture from, Bob?
Random internet site.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I thought it's a bit different.
Yeah, it's got kind of a creepy, slightly insane professor vibe into it. I like it. All right, so.
Are you going to email me the stats for the ship, or?
I can just read them off to you real quick.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do I get to pick the name?
Yeah, you guys can name it. You're going to be an SS. Because you're an independent starship, so it's just a question of you guys can name the ship whatever you want.
Not the minnow though. Manufacturer.
Lockmart.
Lockmart.
Yep, Lockmart.
The Kmart of Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. AI.
Apollo.
That's not P, right? APO. Yeah. Crew.
Crew is it's a minimum crew of 4.
Okay.
But you guys have 6, but that's fine. It's 4 to 8, really, is what it is.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that plays into the game.
It really doesn't, from the standpoint of cryotubes. That's really the only point it matters. You guys have 8 cryotubes.
Okay, I'm just going to put, so no passengers, crew, we're all crew, or am I considered the crew and everybody else?
I'd say you're all crew, yeah.
All crew, no passengers. Length?
302 meters.
FTL rating?
6.
That's pretty impressive.
Signature?
+1.
Thrusters?
1. Oh, no, 0. I'm sorry. 0
Zero.
on thrusters.
No thrusters.
Hull is 9.
That's good. Armor?
6.
6, that's good too. And there's no damage. Got the log up there. Internal modules, anything that I need to put on here?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it all to you.
I mean, if it's in the manual, I can find a page and do it.
Well, obviously you've got the AI. You've got well, you know what? Maybe I wonder if I can do this. Hold on one second. I'm gonna try and copy and paste, see if that works. It might make life a little bit easier. Hey, look at that.
Oh, air scrubbers. Yeah, you changed it on me. Nice.
It's putting my bullet point in there too, but that's okay.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll clean it up. No big deal.
It's easier than just me calling it out and dictating it. When I have the antlers on, I am dictating. When I take them off, I'm not dictating. All right, so that's all the internal modules. You guys obviously you've got air scrubbers. You've got the largest size cargo bay. You got a cryo deck for 8 people. You also have a docking umbilical, which allows you to connect with ships and space stations. You have the Class D lifeboat, which is right underneath the cryo bay. You've got a galley, which can serve, I think it's either 8 or 10 people at a time. You also have a med lab and a science lab, which is helpful. And then in terms of available slots, you have 3 size 2s. You've got 4 size 3s. And you've got 3 size 4s. So there's plenty of room to upgrade this ship. Of course, upgrades are expensive. You have no weapons, but the ship does have weapon mounts externally.
Okay. Any upgrades already installed?
Yes, upgrades. It's got the boosted displacement drives ×6, which is why the FTL rating is so fast.
Oh, I started typing. Maybe I shouldn't have.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
So it's then effect is 6 times.
Correct.
6 FPL. basically.
Yeah, it drops the FTL rating by 6. Yeah.
Okay.
It has enhanced sensors.
And that's the effect there is.
The effect is it gives a +2 bonus to any Comtech roll using sensors, which would be helpful for a science survey vessel, I think.
Right. Okay.
All right, and then the third upgrade it has is planetfall capacity, so it can land.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Any like ATVs, anything like that?
Nope,
No.
you do not have a vehicle bay or anything along those lines. The ship does have some stores. This is probably important. You know what I'll do? I'll make it a handout. I'll make a ship stores handout. The ship is pre-stocked with 120 prefab meals, 120 bottles of water, 100 hydration pills, because according to the rules, every time you wake up from cryo, you have to take a hydration pill. And it also has a Mark 35 pressure suit for each crew member, so there's 6 of those. The Mark 35s are the bulky ones that are armored, but they impact your agility a little bit. But I'll create a crew handout that's got all that stuff on it.
Is this one of those vessels where we got to buy our own meal when we get up?
No, it's part of the ship. So let's talk about the economics of this for a moment. This is a Class M science and research vessel with an adjusted UA dollars cost of $45,900,000, which carries a monthly payment of $76,500. Fortunately, your contract with the UA is going to pay you $100,000 a month, so you guys will be netting a profit there, less whatever you decide to spend money on. So just keep that in mind. Someone's going to get to play ship's accountant and keep track of the cash flow.
Okay, and the ownership is private?
I'll let you. Yeah, you guys are privately owned. I'll let you guys decide on that. Are you guys kind of all in this together? You're an assembled team to do this, and you're all equal partners, or does someone actually own the ship? Does Sharif actually own the ship? I guess because he's the captain. And you guys work for him, or are you guys equal shares in this, or does he pay you guys a salary, or you guys can make that decision?
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Sharif?
I think we should just all be equal partners.
So it'll be a co-op?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It makes the officer thing a little redundant, but...
Yeah, not really, because you still need someone who is in charge and directs.
Maybe we're all owners, but it's an unequal share.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
No, I think that people pick the captain based on all of their skill sets and follow orders through mutual respect.
Works for me.
yeah.
And of course, none of us are bashful about speaking up when we think something's dumb.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's actually a good thing.
Any objection to calling the ship the SS Magellan?
Nope.
Nope.
Sounds good.
Nice explorer name. I like it.
Yeah, and we rented a sailboat on Lake Michigan for a summer, a couple summers ago, 3 summers ago. Its name was Magellan.
I like it.
Yeah, I found Lake Michigan to be a little cold for my tastes.
Oh yeah, it's
Even in the middle of the summer, it was cold.
I used to do the Chicago to Mackinac races, and first year Ted Turner ever did the race, he was making fun of the Chicago to Mackinac Island race until he actually did the race, and it kicked his ass because the weather out there can be brutal and cold.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he admitted it. I was wrong.
I was just up in Charlottesville, Michigan, over by Petoskey,
Mm,
50 miles south of Mackinac, right on the coastline. It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was freezing, but
yeah,
summer.
Sure.
All right.
All right. I think my guy's pretty much there.
Sharif, how are you on all your points and everything?
Pretty good. I think I got through that stuff okay.
All right. And now you've got. Have you spent your bonus XP? You might have missed that. You might have been gone for that part of it.
I think I was gone for that. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
I gave everybody 5 experience points.
Okay.
You can spend those 5 experience points on upping a single skill 1 point. You can add a second talent, or third, and this is the only time I let you do this. You can know another language besides English.
That is pretty awesome. When we consider other talents, is it from our own class, or how does that work?
No, you can take one of your other officer career talents, or you can take anything out of the general list.
Okay, out of the general list. Okay, let me
Yep.
check that out real quick.
And let me take a look at the general list too.
So, and just to make sure we avoid any redundancy, Jesse, you took the counselor talent, right, with your bonus 5?
Yeah, so I can. So if I make a command roll when we're taking, like, if we have, say, we're locked in a room and we're trying to like rest for a bit, bring down our stress, I can make a command roll to bring down someone else's stress for every additional point I roll.
Yep.
I can just talk someone down a little bit.
Right. And Bob, what did you do with your bonus XP?
I took the breakthrough talent that gives me 1 automatic observation roll per game session.
Yep. That's a good one. Jim, you upped your piloting one. Marty, what did you do?
Well, I think I'm going to go to an old standby that has served me very well. I think I'm going to do Nerves of Steel.
All right. And Andy, what about you?
I took a second talent. I took analysis in addition to whatever the first one was. I forget what it was called. Inquisitive.
Oh, analysis. That's the metagame one.
Yeah, sort
That's
of.
that's where you can figure out things about substances basically that you're looking at. Is the goo alien?
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Can I ask you one question here?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So let me get back to the character sheet. Okay, here it is. So the talent that I chose is called Like the Back of Your Hand, and it's for a specific craft. I get a +2 modification to piloting with the chosen vehicle.
Correct.
So is that a permanent modification to piloting, or do I put a +2?
It's it's going to be a +2. You'll just type in as a +2. So I assume you're doing it for the SS Magellan.
Sure.
Yeah. So anytime you make a piloting roll on Magellan, you would just put in a 2-point modifier.
Okay.
Odds are you're probably only ever going to be making piloting rolls on Magellan, but once in a while
separate.
there might be an instance where you pilot something else.
Does that include the lifeboat?
That does not include the lifeboat. The lifeboat's a different craft.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was a fair question. All right, so I got one final modification to throw out there, and you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this, but if you want to, it's completely optional. I have something called story cards that I've made up that will provide some additional background and some other things in your character's history. You do not have to select one. Well, you're not going to select one anyway. You don't have to select whether or not you get one. If you want one, it's going to be a random roll.
So like the Clone of Marines one, where you could roll it and start with a weapon or start with an extra point in something weird.
Sort of, yeah. It's a little more background oriented, but yes.
Well, no, that was the Colonial Marines.
Yeah, it was.
Manual, if I remember, because you could like start with a shotgun or start with a talent in something.
An extra talent, yeah.
Yeah,
but
I'll do it.
invariably, when a character got that extra talent, it was completely useless for his character.
Oh, I actually, I was in a very short-lived attempt to play that campaign, and I actually had a great talent, and then the whole thing fizzled out because people stopped coming, and it was well.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are kind of goofy, you know. It's. I know this isn't one, but it's almost as if you fell asleep in Bobby Flay's cooking show. You make great subs, you know, something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's helpful.
I'll probably, based on that feedback, I think I'll skip.
okay, that's fine. You can do that.
I think
I'll
I'll
go-
skip for now as well. Thank you.
I'm gonna go for it.
All
Oh,
right,
I'm going to go for it too. I'll take anything I can get.
Crom,
Oh,
give
yeah.
me a D6 roll.
D6 coming up.
All righty, and you should have a handout, sir.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take it as well.
All right. Go ahead.
D6.
Number 4. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. You, Vickers. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Bing. All right. Let's see. Who else has a roll? Andy has a roll.
I threw one out. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. Oh, darn it. Hold on. I clicked the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. There we go. Where are you, Andy? There you are. All right. And let's see. Jim and Sharif passed. Bob, you passed as well?
Right.
Okay.
I thought Sharif took one.
Yeah, I did take
Oh,
one. You
Sharif,
sent
yeah,
me one.
you're right.
Yeah.
I got you one. I'm sorry. So
Just-
who am I missing?
problem.
Oh,
Me.
you. Oh, okay, and that's you, Dwayne Dunning. I gotta get these names right. All right, so you're a 4, which there's. Oh well, shoot. There's only 3 left. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, you've got 3 left. You want me to roll a 1 die 3?
I don't think it lets you do that. It'll roll a d4 and ignore a 4.
I just did a 1d3.
How does it let you roll it? It doesn't let me roll. Oh, do I have to do it in the advanced? I do it in the advanced. All right, so you rolled a 1. All right. Okay, sure.
All right. Thanks for nothing.
Oh, don't worry. It's fine.
Okay.
All right.
I like mine. I have a good title at least.
Yep. You'd all should see that handout.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Mine just tells me I'm playing Delta Green.
The handout being just for those that or for
Just for the
people-
story card,
yeah,
correct?
story cards. Okay.
Yep. All right. So you guys can use those to kind of weave your character a little bit. Hopefully you don't absolutely hate what you got. Andy looks perplexed.
No, I'm okay. I'm good.
I'm not sure how to use this one.
Well, the question is, do you really use it, or does it use you?
Yeah, well, there's that.
I incorporated mine onto my sheet.
Okay, very good.
Hey,
So,
hey, Hachi, look at my
Yeah.
signature item.
oh,
Yeah, I'm in the
all right.
process of typing mine up.
Signature item. Oh. All right. Well, I think that about really sums it up. Oh, you know what? Because Marty, aka Dwayne, you don't have you actually don't have a core manual, do you?
No.
Okay. All right. So I will. I'll just give you a shout after this.
Yeah.
to fill out your gear and your cash situation. And then the only other thing is so you guys obviously you want to flesh out your characters a little bit, and we really need to pick buddies and rivals. In this type of scenario, because this is campaign play, rival doesn't necessarily mean someone that you hate or you're out to get. Obviously, it could be a professional rival or just someone that you talk trash to, like Hudson and Vasquez in Aliens, that type of thing. But having a buddy and a rival gives the opportunity for more experience after every scenario. Doing something for your buddy, specifically doing something to help or sacrificing to try to save your buddy, that can gain you XP. Standing up to your rival can gain you XP. So that's an important dynamic. And then of course your character needs to have an agenda. Now these things are not going to be static because this is campaign play. At the end of every scenario, you guys will have the option to change your buddy, change your rival, and change your agenda just based on what happened in the scenario. Okay, because that's what we are. We're dynamic. We grow. So, you may pick someone as a rival, but over the course of a scenario, you end up with some friction with a completely different character. So at the end of you might want to switch to that person as a rival, what have you. We can figure that part out as we go. And it might be a little, we'll probably need everybody to kind of flesh out who their character is a little bit so that everyone can kind of decide who their buddy and rival is. And also keep in mind, this is kind of a weird dynamic, but it's a fact. Dwayne Dunning can have Max Decker as his buddy, but Max Decker views Dwayne Dunning as a rival.
Right.
That can absolutely happen. It's kind of like that old episode of Star Trek when it was called Court Martial, when Kirk was on trial for jettisoning the lieutenant commander too early, when that's not the way it happened. He viewed the lieutenant commander as a buddy of his, but this whole time that lieutenant commander had held a vendetta against Kirk because of something that happened years ago. So it can be that type of situation too. So you guys can think through that a little bit. And other than that, anybody else have any thoughts?
No, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
All right, cool. And I'll throw this out there. Roman and Vickers, do you guys like, and for that matter, Decker, do you guys like your picture the way it is, or do you want me to run it through the filter and see what it looks like?
It's up to you if you have the time. I would take it filtered. I like artistic reinterpretations, but I'm fine with whatever picture.
Well, it only takes me a few minutes, so I'll download it and play with it, and then I'll send it to you, and you can decide which one you want to use.
Okay.
That's fine. I can do that. Anybody else have any other questions, thoughts?
Nope. I've got go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I think everything's set on my end. I threw my handout on my sheet.
Oh, cool. All right. And yep, very good.
No, I don't know. If nobody has any other questions, can I shamelessly plug my book project that I'm working on?
Please.
Sure.
Is that
cool.
an option? I'll post the thing here in the chat. I'll just post the tweet that I made. You guys can just check that out. I am working on, I mentioned, I don't know if everybody was here when I first started playing, but I mentioned that I made a book last year for Vampire the Masquerade called Philadelphia by Night. And it covers Philadelphia for the 19th century to play as a Vampire the Masquerade setting. So the same team plus another VTM writer are now working on a Winnie the Pooh horror tabletop role-playing game.
I think I saw something about that.
That's great.
Yeah, you may have seen it out there somewhere. I announced it a couple of days ago. It's been on Twitter, it's been on Reddit, and it's been on Facebook a little bit. So we have a lot of work to do, but we've got a pretty solid core built up for it. It's myself, 2 other writers, and 2 illustrators, and we're working on putting together a very twisted, fantastical version of the 100 Acre Woods. We're hoping to have it out probably next year and the next.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I can't wait to see that come out.
Yeah, congrats, man. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll let you guys know as I do a little more with it. It's going to be based on the game Blades in the Dark, which is powered by the Apocalypse derivative, but it's its own game. And in Blades of the Dark, everybody plays some kind of criminal, and then you form some kind of gang. And there are different kinds of criminals who can make up different kinds of gangs. So it's like two different layers of how you customize it. And then you live in this kind of like Victorian industrial fantasy city where ghosts are real and demons are real, and there's all these problems, but everybody in the city is involved in a gang in some way, shape, or form. And your job is to try to survive and build yourself out, take over territory, and execute your criminal career. So they have an open game license, kind of similar to how D&D 5e has, where you can strip off all of their setting stuff and then use their game system. So we're taking that, we're adapting their factional model into something that's not completely based around kind of like an Oops All Rogues setup. So we're adapting it to have different kinds of themes associated with it, and then chop up the 100 Acre Woods into a factional territorial arrangement, and players will take the part of some kind of little forest critter that you make, and your job is you have to form some kind of little pack, and your job is to do whatever it is you make your job. Some may want to try to restore balance and decency to the woods. Some might just want to take advantage of it, and they are playing a bunch of rogues and work for their own gain. So we're working on putting together a game like that with the Winnie the Pooh art and horror stuff that you see there.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And sorry, what was that, Jesse?
There goes my childhood.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we've gotten some of that. The diciest place that I put it up was on the r/Winnie the Pooh subreddit, which is where you expect people are going to be like, you can really just fuck off and die. So the people there are really not happy about the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that's coming out. They think it's a piece of shit, and I mean, it's public domain stuff. So what are you going to do? People are going to do what they're going to do. But I put my project up there, and I actually talked to some of the people who were like, why do you have to make these perverse, twisted renditions? I kind of explained like who the team is, how we got here, what it is we're doing, what our game build experience is like. And I actually managed to win a couple people over who were like, okay, I understand you're like doing a more of an homage. I'm like, yeah, it's not a titty movie, even though I think the titty movie is probably going to be funny and kind of fine. But people who are diehard Winnie the Pooh fans are not about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's less serious than what we're doing, but at the same time, I do see some of them out there, and they're like, there's somebody who on Reddit who wanted to file a petition to have the Winnie the Pooh name taken off of this. It's called Blood and Honey, off of the movie Blood and Honey. And I'm like, you don't want them to fail.
Right.
Even if you don't like what they made, it's not going to be good if it fails. If you want to see other people's renditions that are like more conventional, but different animation, different art style versions of the stuff, you don't want Disney to keep winning against the projects you don't like.
No.
We're going to be your litmus test to see if other people get to make interpretations of this. So it's one of those things where like, you should probably defend our right to speak, whether or not you agree with what we're having to say. But most people seem to come around to it once they realize they were actually talking to somebody who's involved in making it, how much work we put into trying to get it right. I think I won over a couple of fans in the least likely of places, so that's a good start.
Well, that's a good start. That's great.
Yeah.
And kind of my own self-promotion plug here. Jesse ran the hunt. What was it? The other day or last week?
Last week on Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. You ran it on World 20, didn't you?
Yeah. I run everything on Roll 20.
Yeah. So how'd that go?
Good. Oh no, it was pleasant. God, I have another group of people that I run Alien for, usually on Tuesday nights. I think we're deciding, because I like your published material is easy to import into Roll20 for me. I can just throw everything in. So so right now I'm given the option between Rule of Robots or Send Domain to start next week.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
But the hunt was good. I had 4 players. 1 dropped the last second down to 3. So I had someone on Ahmad, someone on the captain, someone on the pilot, and then my player who dropped was originally going to be Zeus, the
Good old Zeus.
the hunter. But it worked out really well because I just had Zeus basically as an NPC just be a dick to everyone. Like
He would actually be an
Alfredo,
ideal NPC, I think.
you know. So Alfredo the pilot comes in and he's like, oh yeah, and he's like trying to talk to Zeus, and Zeus is like, why'd your parents name you after a second-rate pasta? And Alfredo's like, he just took offense to it. So, and he's just like, so I remember at one point, because I took your notes when the characters were going into the jungle, and I didn't have to use the distress call. Everyone was just, Zeus is just like, you're following with me. I want the glory to be witnessed, and everyone's just like, fuck it, we're even paid for it, just follow. And I remember very distinctly because Alfredo was, they're going in the forest, and he's just like, and Zeus is like, you'll want to witness all this and something. And then Alfredo's like, yeah, no, I don't want to miss anything. Hate to like, and he goes, hate to lose track of you in the woods. And he said something really, I can't remember exactly how he got to it, but he said, hate to lose a Greek god. And I like wrote that down, especially because Alfredo, his secret agenda is to go find samples, for these of a xenomorph or some unknown alien. So he goes off in the woods. He separated himself from the party at one point. Obviously, he's the first target. Died in one shot to a disc blade. Cut him clean down the middle. Broke him in one hit. Severed one of his arteries, and he bled out. Just glorious. And then when the predator actually shows up later, because they tracked the xenomorph to the cave because they didn't know what killed him. They found his body later, but the evidence had been removed. They didn't know what killed him. They tracked the xenomorph, and when the predator made its announcement, it decloaked with the statement, hate to kill a Greek god, before taking out Zeus as the NPC.
Nice.
And hunting everyone as they ran like hell back to the ship. The only person to live was a little girl because she was the only one who didn't try to fight it. She was just, that character was taken over by Alfredo's guy's name was Das, and Das took over the little girl. Only survivor, just sitting there traumatized, but everyone just basically got eviscerated one by one, and it was good. And I actually had one player in that game who was on like a 3 streak. He had survived like three one-shot scenarios in a row, and I finally got him right there at the end. It was good. I was like, because I remember we started that scenario. I was like, Noah, how many sessions you've been alive for now? And he's like, I've lived the last 3. And he survived. He's not even survived like homebrew stuff. He survived Destroy of Worlds with the same character through the whole thing.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
He survived Fallout. We ran Fallout once the novel came out.
Yeah.
He survived that with the same character the whole way through. Everyone else, what else did he survive? There's one more I'm trying to think. It might have been a homebrew one, but he survived that whole session. And I was just like, Noah, I gotta kill you, man. Like,
it's just not fair to everybody else at all.
He's just making it to the end.
Well,
guys, yep, I need to head off.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Bob.
It was fun, and see you next week.
Next week, you got it.
Yeah, I got to get going here as well. I do something with my day here.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for the game, Marty.
You bet. Anytime. We'll see you in a week.
For sure.
See you in a week.
Later.